Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Final Boss Podcast, special guest edition. I hope everyone is having a great week. To start this super fantastic episode number 53 off, I would like to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Right now, I am waiting. We're having some technical difficulties, and I'm trying to get my guest on board. And for some reason, I'm in the platform, she's in the platform, but we don't see each other. And I've been trying to troubleshoot this thing for the last 30 minutes. And we might have to do a different approach. Let's see what this brain can do. How are my smarts out there? I hope everyone is doing well. And let's see what we can do. It's more than one way to skin one of those animals. Good people, good people, good people. This is interesting. Very, very interesting. Tonight's show, if we're able to move forward, um, like I said, it was episode 53. We were going to talk about leadership, self management, and Alzheimer's. But trying to I cannot get my guest on board. This is episode 53, and we have never experienced this before. Never. Strange forces at work. Strange forces at work. But we're gonna get through it. Now just bear with me, please. Hold on. We might have some action. Or take a different route. Oh boy. We're gonna have to talk about that offline. Oh man. It's
Vincent,
good. It's good to have
good.
you
Well,
as
thank you.
my
It is
guest
nice to
tonight.
be here.
Oh man. Oh, I was over here troubleshooting and praying. I was doing all of the things. Trust me. I was talking to the little gremlins that are in the little in our devices, like, hey guys, I need you to help us out here. So
Yes,
thank you.
yes.
Thank
You're
you. Thank you.
welcome.
So
You're welcome.
right on time, my most esteemed guest for tonight, my aunt, Camilla. But before let me have the floor because I want to talk about you for a second. Let me have the floor. My most esteemed guest, super distinguished, beautiful, funny, United States Army retired Colonel White. welcome to the show. I gotta give you a cheer. I just have to. This is such a momentous and special moment for me. And um man, it's good to have you here. Smarts, my aunt. Now we can get into the show. So this is episode 53. We're going to be talking about leadership. We're going to be talking about self-management, and we're going to be talking about Alzheimer's. And before we get into that, each and every show, I like to do what I like to call my brass tacks, where I give words of inspiration
Tanisha.
to anyone and everyone out there who's ready to receive it. I hope you guys are having a great week this week. The week is almost over for some of you. It's Thursday. You have a couple more days left, but we're gonna get right into it. So tonight, the brass tacks is this: the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. That's going to be the brass tacks tonight. I want you guys to hold on to that, keep it close to your chest, and we're going to get right into our episode, man. Um, it's uh, it's such a pleasure, such a pleasure. How was your day today?
I had a beautiful day today.
Okay, okay, okay. For those, like I said, man, for those who don't know, this is, and if you're just coming on board, I see some people coming on board right now. Thank you for joining us. Join the team, become a smart. Uh, like, share, subscribe to all of the channels. Please check us out on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, StreamYard, and Spotify for all of your listening pleasures. And for those who like to see us visually, check us out on social media. Uncle Muller,
Yes.
you had an incredible 30-year career in the Army. Is that 30 plus or 30?
27 plus.
Oh, okay. We're going to say 27 plus career. Retiring as a full bird colonel. What are some key leadership lessons you learned that translate to everyday life? I always remember you saying with such tenacity, keep going. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, I'm full right now, so just bear with me because this is
Awesome.
definitely an honor. My nephew, my favorite nephew.
Oh,
Uh,
you start trouble.
yes, I am. But everybody knows how I feel about you. You're my favorite.
Thank
Always
you.
have been. We've been through a lot ever since he was born.
Yes, we
Absolutely.
have. Yes, we
Um,
have.
but but leadership that has taken me to this point, lessons learned, was being resilient, not taking everything personally,
Okay.
being there for others when they needed me,
Hmm.
and then relying on them when I needed them. And that's what's brought me to where I am today. I always like to help others, and I'm always going to be there for others as often as I can and when I can,
Hmm.
to lift them up when they're down. Because when I'm down and I call you, you're going to lift me up. So it's really a give and take relationship that you have with the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Not just your friends, but it's family, it's friends.
Hmm.
It takes a village.
It does take a village.
And I relied on that village a lot. And I still rely on that village.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Absolutely.
Yes, because you're
Absolutely.
not you're not in this fight alone, and it's a day-to-day struggle for us all. and
Hmm.
we and we have to realize that we're not alone, and it's okay to wake up one morning and just boil down with tears because you had such a rough night and you still going through it the following day, the following morning. But
Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay to get on those knees and thank the good Lord above that He woke you up that morning.
Hallelujah.
Okay.
Hallelujah. Yes.
And move on with your day because that's where
Mm-hmm.
it starts.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. 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 My next question. Hold on. Let me get rid of these banners. Voila. Look at that magic. You know, we had a conversation the other day. We talked about tier one people and leaders. And I asked you, I said, you always seemed so calm under pressure. And I remember thinking about so many different situations where you everyone was going crazy, crashing out. But not you. You were cool, calm, collective. You took over the situation and you led with superb leadership. What's your antidote or the special sauce to keep you calm and under pressure during stressful situations?
Every general I worked for, which has always been either 3-star, 2-star general, they've always told me I do my best work under pressure. And that's because the first thing I do is give it to the good Lord above. Say,
Amen.
God, I gotta cross this gate, but I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how I'm gonna cross that gate. But I know
Hallelujah.
when I cross
Mm-hmm.
it, you're gonna be there with me. So I
Mm-hmm.
walk through that gate with him. And I've known going out on some missions, and I'm in the vehicle and I'm saying the Lord's Prayer all at the same time, because I know that's the only way that I'm gonna get to that point.
Absolutely.
But I know I had to keep it together because I
Mm-hmm.
was in that leadership position. And I'm a mother the same way. I
Right.
keep it strong for my child as well. I keep it strong
Mm-hmm.
for my nephews, my cousins,
Absolutely.
everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't know what I do when I close those doors at night. You don't know how many times I get down on my knees and pray to the good Lord above to give me the strength to lift me, to lead me, to guide me.
That's
And it
so
doesn't make
profound. Mm.
sense for me to get upset,
Yeah.
yell, scream,
Mm-hmm.
jump up and down, because you know what? The results are going to be what the good Lord wants the results to be. So I depend on him, Dwight. That is my answer. It is give it to him, because that's
Wow.
the only way you can do it. But you got to look in yourself too. He's
Absolutely.
going to give you the strength
Mm-hmm.
and the wisdom to go from point A to point B. But you got to have that strength within yourself. You got to know who you are inside. And you
Wow.
got to know that I can make it. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
cross that bridge because God has led me this far and He's not going to let me down. So you're going to take that step across that bridge and you're going to go without
Absolutely.
any hesitation whatsoever. And
Wow.
you're going to own it because it's yours. He gave it to you. So you got to own it. You can't let it go. You can't let anybody bring that negativity in there into that room.
Mm-hmm.
You got to push it all behind you. And you
Wow.
got to own that situation, and you
Mm-hmm.
got to be confident in what you're doing as well. I've always taught my child, know what you know. If you're an 88 Mike or a 92 Alpha, you better know 88 Mike and 92 Alpha business, because that's going to come across. But that's what gives you that confidence to walk into that room and own it. And it's going
Wow.
to come across that way.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel White, and we're having church right now. Listen, those statements were so profound. I started getting emotional. You're making my face wet. Like, what is going on right now? And to my little cuz, I call her my sister. Listen, I'm the firstborn. Remember that. I'm the firstborn. Love you, T. Yeah. Oh man, that was so prolific. Thank you for sharing that information. There were a couple of things that you said in there that just really resonated with um, with me in my career in the military and going on different missions as well. And it's the same process, the same thought process. You know, people need and I think this one point is a point you made. People don't pray enough for discernment. When you have discernment, you have the ability to read the room.
Oh, absolutely. Without
That
a
is a
doubt.
phenomenal soft skill set. I'm telling you,
Yes,
it is a phenomenal soft skill set. The ability to read the room because you have the ability of discernment. Thank you for sharing that. Oh man, that was wonderful.
absolutely.
Um, people have so many different things that, and I don't want to say things, but people have so many different thoughts about leadership. It's they're pro or they're con. They feel like they can do it better than this person. Not everybody can be a leader. Not everybody
That's
can be.
right.
Everybody can't be a king. Everybody can't be a queen. So what? Let me ask you, what's the biggest misconception people have about leadership?
Is that leadership is taught.
Hmm.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna ask you that one more time because I'm gonna need my smarts. Hey, my smarts, I need you. We have a church right now, smarts. Y'all need to be taking notes. Say that one more time for me, please.
They believe leadership is taught.
Leadership is taught. Mm,
Now, you can managers manage,
correct.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
And management is taught. Management
Correct.
is taught because as a manager, you're
Mm-hmm.
taught how to add one and one plus two. You're
Yes.
taught how to set up that warehouse. You're
Correct.
taught how to make a platoon. You're
Mm-hmm.
taught how to line those cans up on that shelf. You're
Right.
taught how to make sure your people get from point A to point B. You're
Mm-hmm.
taught how to do their time cards. You're taught how to make sure that they have what they need to get their job done. But
Correct.
as a leader, leadership isn't taught.
Right.
You're not taught how to lead your people across the river.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You're not taught to sit down with them and have that conversation with them. Leadership is something that you're born with.
Mm-hmm.
It is something that you earn, like you earn respect. I put respect and leadership on the same line
Yeah,
because your
I agree.
people, if they respect you, they're
Mm-hmm.
going to follow you. They're going to
Absolutely.
follow you because
Mm-hmm.
of your leadership, and your
Absolutely.
leadership is born. And I
Absolutely.
know in the military, there's leadership 101. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not teaching you how to be a leader. It
Right.
is giving you a concept in which you need to follow underneath, quote unquote, the words leader or leadership.
Mm.
So to me, that's what a lot of people get confused.
Okay.
Everybody can't lead and
True.
everybody can't manage. You
That's true
manage,
too.
yes, you
Yeah.
manage money,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Yeah.
but you lead people.
True.
Okay, and people don't understand that, and
Yeah.
that's where a lot of confusion come in, and that's why a
Absolutely.
lot of people in these leadership roles,
Mm-hmm.
they're not respected.
You're right. You're right. There's a saying that we used to say all the time. Not all managers make great leaders, and not all leaders make great managers.
You're
Sometimes you
absolutely
need
correct.
a manager and you need a leader to get the mission accomplished.
Yes.
So tonight, we're doing something different. We're tackling three topics under one episode, and I um, your insight on leadership, superb, distinguished. It's what you do. Now, since we just started talking about management, here's a segue into our next topic: self-management. I've always said you were always so organized and efficient. um, whether it's doing something for work or planning for a family gathering or managing some dear heart moments to us as our family. You manage those. What self-management techniques? Hold on. Somebody's sending me a message. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, give me a second. So sorry guys. I apologize.
That's okay. You good.
All right, go check yes, the website's coming. Okay. Thank you. Question. What self-management techniques have you found most helpful?
Self management techniques. One is patience,
Mm,
one is being focused, because if you're not focused on the task at hand, you're going to be all over the map,
mm-hmm.
and you're not going to be able to get it together and keep it together because you're not focused.
Got it.
If you don't have the patience to walk the walk and talk the talk, then you're not going to get it together at all.
Mm,
So, some of the self management techniques I've always kept in my back pocket was always having patience, always listen. Listen
okay.
is very important,
Active
because if you
listening.
don't
Mm,
listen,
mm-hmm.
then you're going to think you know it all,
True.
and everybody else is wrong, and you're the only one that's right. And it's either my way or the
On a
highway.
highway. Right.
Yes. And you can't do that.
Yeah.
You just can't do that.
True.
And a lot of us make that mistake, no matter what position you're in. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of us make that mistake. And then, because you're good at what you do, you have to be humble. Okay?
Yes. Yes.
Because
Yes.
if you're
And
not humble,
mm-hmm.
all of that, and I call it mess,
Mm,
comes out.
it
Okay?
truly does. Yeah.
Where you begin to look down on others
Mm-hmm.
because you figure you're the only one that can do it,
Yeah.
because you become so good at what you're doing, you're not humble. You
Right.
don't care about anybody else. Oh, I got this.
Mm,
That. Right? But
yeah.
no, that's the wrong way to approach it.
Yeah.
So even though you are able to go out there and look at that bridge and say, okay, I need 36 square feet blocks, I need 224 whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you are able to do that, you need to bring somebody else along with you.
True. Nobody can do it by themselves.
That's
Absolutely.
right.
Absolutely.
And we all, and a lot of us make that mistake, and that sometimes is our downfall.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you 100%. 100%.
Yes.
How do you stay motivated and focused, especially when faced with so many challenges?
Well, Dwight, I still got to take it back to the good Lord above,
Okay.
to stay motivated and to stay
Mm-hmm.
challenged. And my biggest motivation has always been my daughter,
Oh.
because I knew that I had to be strong for her.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that when she came in this world, that I wanted to make sure that she always had a roof over her head.
Mm-hmm.
She got the best education.
Okay.
She had the best of whatever I could give to her. So my motivation was her. And my other motivation was my dad, because I used to couldn't talk about what I'm about to say, but I can do it now, and I can
Wait,
do it
do I
in
need to brace myself for this?
no,
You
no.
sure? No, 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 no. I'm saying, no. Grandma and granddaddy mean so much to me,
Yes, yes. And
and
granddad meant a lot to me.
yes.
Uh, Granddad, in his own little way, he taught me a lot.
Yeah.
And
All
I
of us.
never,
Yeah.
yes,
Hmm.
and I never forget at the breakfast table one morning, he looked over at me, and there was only people that were at that little bitty table in that kitchen on 7th Street was
Hmm.
Kent, myself, and mom and dad.
Okay.
And dad, we were going through a whole lot of family changes like any normal families. And
Hmm.
he looked over me and he said, "Yellow women are never amount to nothing."
Oh wow.
Okay.
Mm.
And that has stuck with me right today. In every promotion I've gotten, when I used to come across the finish line for my PT test, I'll
Hmm.
throw my hands up and I say, "Guess what, Dad? Look.
Yeah.
At my promotions, I would
Hmm.
say, I give thanks to my dad
Yeah.
for his
Yeah.
motivation."
Yeah.
But did nobody know what I was talking about?
Absolutely.
But my
Absolutely.
motivation was to let him know that
Yeah.
what? That I am somebody.
Hmm.
I am somebody, me.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
And I've told this story to my daughter. The
Yeah.
same thing. Okay. But
Hmm.
she was my number one motivation. And I ran those PT tests, worked out, did
Hmm.
everything. And all the time I was thinking, I got to take care of my child. I
Yeah.
got to make sure she is good to go.
You know, that's uh that's amazing.
And that's
You know,
that's been my total motivation.
wow. That's so amazing. Let me tell you why. Because I my my I too have had similar motivations where parental dynamics are very, very interesting.
Yes. Yes.
And sometimes, and I'm speaking for a lot of people. And if this resonates with you, please let me know. Sometimes what we're taught or what we say to ourselves, we don't want to be that way. We want to
Yeah.
be better.
Yes.
So the example that we're given from our parents, whether it's positive or negative, we can turn it to something positive.
Yes, we
And
can.
and and I believe a lot of us, especially leaders, I believe a lot of us uh, take the challenges that we see and we turn it and flip it and make what we can and make it useful and how it can be used to motivate and push us. So thank you for sharing that. I didn't know that either. But AAT, I know you watching. I'm still number one. Remember that. but but yeah, I thank you so much.
And every one of my mentors that
Mm-hmm.
I've had, and
Okay.
I've had one all the way through,
Okay.
have always said to me is that you're you're who you are, and the decisions that you make day in and day out motivate you to do better each and every day. So if I was given an assignment and I I didn't know which way to go, I would think about all of those things to drive me in the right path, and which I knew I needed to take to get
Mm-hmm.
there, to eliminate my fears.
Right.
Okay? Because your fears will hold you back. Your fears will eliminate your motivation.
True.
Your fears will take you down. So walk in those situations with no fears.
Okay.
Walk in those situations fearless. And you have to do that.
All
And
right.
let the naysayers and all the negativities just push it to the wayside. Because you know what? They're not going to take care of you. They're
Absolutely.
not going to be there to lift you up when you're down.
No, they're not.
So just
No,
move
they're
on.
not. That's it.
Yes,
You know.
absolutely. Yes.
We just and thank you for sharing that. And I, smarts take notes. I'm gonna keep saying it. We're going to move on to the our next topic. So we just went through leadership. We just talked about self management. We just had a brief conversation about my grandfather. Interesting enough, our next topic which is going to take up the rest of the show, is Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's, Alzheimer's, Alzheimer's. You've been incredibly open about your experience or our experiences with Alzheimer's.
Yes.
Can you share a bit about your journey and how and what you've learned through this journey? Because we've had family members who succumbed to Alzheimer's.
Yes. Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, Dwight, it's been a journey, um, a
Yeah.
jigsaw puzzle, I would call it.
Interesting.
Um, as well as in the beginning, it was a maze
Mm-hmm.
because as I entered into this environment, I had no idea, none whatsoever.
Right.
Um, as you know, my husband, your uncle, passed away in 2013.
Correct.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
August 2013.
Mm.
Grandma came into my life in December of 2013, walking into 2014,
Right.
and couldn't spell Alzheimer's. Had no idea what it was.
Mm.
But I know the journey was a journey I'll never forget.
Okay.
It taught me a lot. Trying to navigate the maze initially, trying to get her settled, trying to cope with her husband, my dad,
Mm-hmm.
who had Alzheimer's as well, trying to give her the best in life that life could give her until she transitioned. Not knowing where, this is the best one, not knowing where the funds were going to come from.
Oh,
Had no
yeah.
idea.
Mm. Right.
Didn't know where to go to get the help.
Mm.
Didn't know where to find the answers to questions I didn't know that I needed to be asking, if that
Mm.
makes sense.
Absolutely. It does. It does.
Alzheimer's is a fatal disease.
Mm.
There is no cure for it at all. None. And Alzheimer's takes its toll on not only the individual that's affected by Alzheimer's, but it also takes its toll on the entire family
Yeah. It really does.
because it was four of us
Yeah.
and two were in denial and two were accepting. So it split us straight down the middle.
Mm.
And I can talk about it now, but I used to couldn't talk about it. Not in open fashion, not to anyone.
Right.
But it's a lesson that so many families have learned because so many families go through it.
True.
And you have to be together as one in order to
Mm-hmm.
deal with it. Because if not, you end up separate like we did. Two were in denial, two accepted. So, we had to learn to take care of mom the best way I could. I couldn't get her clothes from out of dad's house because he told me no way. So, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that was your granddad. But
Yeah.
so what I ended up was giving mama my clothes,
Wow.
okay, in order to clothe her. But dad came around a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. But remember, he had Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
But we didn't know enough about it at that time to understand where his mental state was, much more where mama's mental state was.
Correct.
So it was definitely a learning institution for me.
Yeah.
And when I did bring her to my home,
Mm-hmm.
I was working 8 hours a day, you know?
Wow. Yeah.
So my day started at 4 o'clock in the morning
Mm.
because I had to get me ready. I had to cook mama's breakfast. Then I would have to go wake her up. And
Okay.
some mornings, that was a big no, no. Mama wasn't getting out that bed because it was too early for her.
Yeah.
And some mornings, because mama was depressed, but we didn't know that. And depression leads to Alzheimer's.
Mm.
So if you know a loved one or know someone who's going down that track, please get them the help that they need because it does lead into Alzheimer's. Mom used to wake up in the morning. I finally get her out of bed and she'd just bawl, nothing
Mm.
but tears.
Wow.
And she'd talk about a little bit of everything. And I say right
Mm.
today, I didn't know mama because I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
around a lot, because of the uniform. And then I
Right.
lived in one state and she lived in another.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to know her during that time frame. I
Okay.
got to know her childhood. I
Wow.
got to know her marriage.
Wow.
And I got to know each one of my siblings from my mother's perspective. Okay. Oh, yeah. I got to know them from her perspective.
That's so funny to
You know,
me. Yeah.
and Alzheimer's,
Mm.
someone who's affected by Alzheimer's, they live in the moment.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes mama would say things and I didn't know what she was talking about.
Okay.
Had no idea. But I soon learned because it was so repetitive.
Mm.
But from 2013/14, I call it, all
Mm-hmm.
the way until October of 2023 when she transitioned, I learned mama
Wow.
and I learned her well.
Wow.
I learned all of her siblings,
Mm-hmm.
how they used to get up before day in the morning and they
Mm-hmm.
go in the field, pick cotton, do whatever else they needed to do,
Mm.
go back in the house, eat, get on the bus, and go to school.
Wow.
Okay.
Mm.
And a lot, none of us know that
Yeah, I didn't even know that. Wow.
because we were not around enough.
Mm.
But that memory is still there. And I learned so much from mama. Even though her memory was constantly declining,
Mm-hmm.
I took notes. I have in my phone now her journal. From way back then all the way up until now, I kept a journal in my phone
Wow.
about my mother and the things that I went through.
Mm.
Um, Mom, dad left a pension,
Mm-hmm.
which helped, but it was nearly not enough.
Right. I can
So as
imagine.
a caregiver,
Mm-hmm.
you sacrifice because I like to say that there are over 11 million caregivers out here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the statistics state from the Alzheimer's Association. But
Right.
I like to say that's 11 million hours of love that you're giving to
Mm-hmm.
take care of
Your
one
one
person,
person.
your
Yeah.
loved one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And because it takes love to do that.
Right.
Everybody's not a caregiver, like
True.
everybody's not a leader, and
Yeah.
everybody's not a manager.
Wow.
Everybody's not a caregiver.
True.
Everybody can't take on the role of care partner
Yeah. They can't.
because it takes a lot.
It does
You
take a
give
lot.
up, you give up everything. I
Yeah.
went to work one morning and one of my um, employees said to me, they said, ma'am, you look like HELL. What's wrong with you?
Mm.
Because my staff didn't know.
Wow.
Because I went down on a Friday night and I
Mm-hmm.
packed mama what I could from Fonzo's house because she was at Fonzo's house and I took her straight back home.
Mm.
And I started from scratch with everything to get her well taken care of until dad began to come around. I didn't know. I didn't know what Medicaid and Medicare was because I
A
was
lot
in
of
the
Americans
army.
still don't.
No, thank you. I was
Yeah.
in the army, so I
Hmm.
had no idea what that was
Yeah.
to help take care of Mama.
True. True.
I knew that she could get aid because Dad was a retired military person,
Hmm.
Marine, still a Marine. Once a
Right.
Marine, always
Once a
a
Marine,
Marine.
always a Marine. Yes.
Yes, so I knew that,
Hmm.
but how to get that done, had no idea,
Mm.
none whatsoever. So in my nights when Mama was asleep, which sometimes was 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
Hmm.
maybe 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, then I got to get right back up at 4. I would do as much research as I could
Mm.
to navigate that maze because at that time it was a maze. But I held it strong for everybody because that's what I thought I needed to do. That's what I
Right.
knew I needed to do.
Mm.
So a lot of what I was going through, nobody knew. Family wasn't aware
Yeah.
because I really didn't have anyone to turn to. I could call T, out there in California sometimes or wherever she was, and
Hmm.
talk to her. But, who else did I have to turn to? Used to
Right.
talk to God all the
All the
time,
time.
quite
Yeah.
a bit, quite a
Mm.
bit.
Mm.
Okay. But my journey is just like a lot of families out here right today, but they don't know where to go, just like I
Right.
didn't know where to go.
And I'm glad you brought that up because that's going to segue into my next question. Because where to go? What resources have you found most helpful?
The best resource is the following, and you can put it in the chat, is the Alzheimer's Association.
Okay.
There is a 1-800 number, which
Hmm.
is 1-800-272-3900. That is a 24/7 hotline, 365 days out of a year.
Hmm.
It speaks over 200 languages. And trust me, you always get an individual, not a recording.
Mm.
I have used that on numerous occasions.
Okay.
Absolutely. That is one of the best resources.
All
The
right.
other one is get the book called 36 Hours in a Day,
36 hours.
because an Alzheimer's patient, their mind is about 36 hours in a day.
Mm.
I'm telling you. Um, they're everywhere, and you have to learn how to deal with that. And when they begin to sundown,
Hmm.
36, that book is excellent. It has a lot of means in there to overcome, to help with sundowning, because you can't do anything about it. But it gives you a lot of things to do to overcome and to help the situation with your loved ones.
Wow.
Because some of them become combatant during
Hmm.
sundowning as well.
Okay.
There are a lot of free programs out there on our website, which is alz.org,
Okay.
that you can actually look, learn, and listen at the same time on our website also. And
Okay.
everything the Association does is free. It
Okay.
doesn't cost you a dime to
Mm.
just log in or pick up the phone and call. Absolutely. Then you have the Department of Aging,
Hmm.
which is in all 54 states and territories. They have one. They help out a lot. They helped me out a lot in Georgia. They actually came out and inspected the home because
Hmm.
Mama was on a walker. So the house, you couldn't have any carpet. So the carpet uh, couldn't be there. So I didn't have carpet anyway because I had all hardwood floors,
Hardwood floors.
but
Right.
I had the throw rugs. No
Hmm.
rugs, period. All
Wow.
of that had to come up because of a safety issue.
Mm.
They installed the bars where Mama could hold on to the walls as she walked.
Hmm.
Department of Aging actually installed those for me,
Okay.
and they did the ones in the bathroom as well. So
Hmm.
those are free resources that you can take advantage of in your particular state as well.
Okay.
Yes, and I
All right.
also do advocacy as well.
Hmm.
And that is, I go before Congress and I advocate on patients that are affected by Alzheimer's,
Okay.
those caregivers, those care partners, those communities,
Hmm.
because a lot of people say facilities, they don't live in a facility, they live in a community because it's
Hmm.
where they eat, sleep, walk, talk, you visit, it's their home. So don't refer to it as a facility, it is a community.
Got it.
And a lot of the free resources are out there for you. All you got to do is pick up that 1-800 number and
Hmm.
call, and they'll direct you in the right direction as well.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. Before we close, I'll give you a chance to tell more about the different sites and organizations again. So those who maybe not who didn't capture it can capture that information. Thank you for sharing all of those resources. Um, you mentioned something a few minutes ago that stood out, and I'm just I'm just thinking about grandma and granddaddy, and we didn't know, we didn't know. Um, what advice would you give to others facing a similar diagnosis?
One, there is a education program that we give. It's called the 10 warning signs,
Mm,
because there are 10 warning signs that you can look for in a loved one to determine whether or not they're having some sort of cognitive issues, memory declining, not being able to remember where they put something.
okay.
But those 10 warning signs are what's key.
Okay.
Learn those. Once you see your loved one may be discombobulated, and
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying there is that granddad got lost twice going right down the street to Piggly Wiggly, and the police had to bring him back
Wow.
because he had forgotten his way.
Mm,
Watch your loved ones. Watch if they put something down and can't find it, but because you're the one that's closest to them, you are accused of hiding it, taking it from
mm,
them. Okay? Not being able to regurgitate a conversation or talk like you and I are talking now. Look at those things.
okay.
And the sooner you take them to the doctor,
Okay.
and the doctor can determine if they are enduring some sort of memory decline, and
Mm-hmm.
refer them to a neurologist, because the neurologist is the only one can tell you if your loved one is being affected by some sort of dementia, which there are over 70 different types of dementia out there. Alzheimer's is only one.
Wait. What you said? 70? I was going to ask you a statistic.
70.
70. That
Yes.
that is incredible. So I'm glad you brought up statistics because I wanted to ask you a question. You on our your the introduction video that you did for me to let people know that you were going to be on the Final Boss podcast. You mentioned a statistic about how many people in families. The statistic said something about there's one in every two families or something. Don't quote me, but that's that statistic. What was that?
That's like 1 in 5.
One in
Um,
five.
and some people always ask me, well, is it genetic?
Mm,
No, it
okay.
is genetic. It's not genetic.
Okay.
Okay. It will may hit one gene, skip 4 generations, skip 4, 5, 6, and then it'll hit.
Mm,
Okay.
hmm.
So yes, it is the fourth leading cause of death in the African American community.
Fourth.
Number four,
Four.
number four, in African American. Okay, number four.
That's concerning. Number four. Wow.
Yes, it is. And we are trying to get out there. But see, Alzheimer's is purple. You don't care.
Mm,
Okay, so those stats are high no matter where they are. But ours is number four is because we don't want to go to the doctor. We don't want to get the diagnosis.
right.
Other populations have means and they have accessibility to different health programs. The
Mm,
doctors, okay, they have the
hmm.
education because they come out to the forums. They want to learn. We don't.
Wow.
Okay,
Wow.
and the stats for um 2024 for
Hmm.
Virginia, I'm going to read them to you. The
Okay.
number of people age 65 and older with Alzheimer's, okay, is 164K.
Wow. That's
And that
alarming.
yes, and that's
Yeah.
just Virginia. And the percentage of adults over 65 with Alzheimer's is 11.7%.
Mm,
So you see those numbers, and just imagine that's what we know.
right. That's what we
What
know.
about the
Correct.
unknown?
The
The
unknown.
ones who think
Hmm.
grandma and granddaddy are just out here running around and it depends because they're crazy. No, they're not crazy.
Mm,
It's because they're affected by some sort of dementia, quote unquote, maybe Alzheimer's, but you don't know if you don't take them to the doctor and get that early diagnosis. So immediately when you see one of those 10 warning signs, take them to the doctor. Let the doctor know what you see. Start keeping a journal. Like
hmm.
when granddad was in that kitchen cooking that Saturday morning, that he was cooking oatmeal and he had spilled a box of raisins all over the floor and he was just walking all over the floor.
Oh,
Just
wow.
just walking all over the raisins like they were not even there.
Wow. Wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things you gotta look at and
Look
say, oh my
for.
goodness,
Mm,
this is not the norm.
yeah.
Okay, and get
Hmm.
them taken in. That's why
Okay.
we ended up taking mom and dad at the same time.
Yeah. That was. Yeah.
Yes, but
That
nobody
made.
knew dad had been diagnosed like 3 or 4 years earlier by
Mm,
his doctor. But because nobody went to the doctor but him by himself, who knew? Who
right.
knew? Didn't nobody know. But we
Mm-mm-mm.
knew when we finally got him to the doctor.
Wow.
Yes,
Well, we get ready to close out, but before we close out, I have one more question,
yes,
and because and we got 6 minutes left before we close out. I have to ask this question and lead into the conclusion. Your resilience is truly inspiring. What have you learned about resilience throughout your life and facing Alzheimer's?
you can't let it get you.
Okay.
You can't let it get you down
Okay.
because if you do, then you can't bounce back. You have to walk in that situation in the mindset, I got this.
Mm,
And you may be crying inside like I was, Dwight, and you
mhm.
be like, oh my gosh, can I do this? But you know what? I put on that smiling face, hold my head up high. I got this. I can do this, and you bounce back.
Okay.
Okay. Like, I didn't have time to grieve my husband's passing.
Right.
No, because he passed there. Then here comes grandma, and with
Yeah.
all of the Alzheimer's taking her, my life just turned upside down.
Yeah.
But you know what? I still took care of my child in college,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
okay, because that was my number one priority,
Yeah.
and I was doing everything to keep her going.
Mm,
So resilience is all about knowing you,
okay.
knowing what your strengths are, knowing what your strong points are,
Mm,
knowing what you can take and what you cannot take. But let that negativity stay 90 yards behind you because you don't need it.
got it.
Okay? They
Yep.
come in your life with negativity, turn to the off button.
As like the young kids say less.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But
uh
that's where my resilience is, to bounce back,
mm,
knowing what I can do, knowing what my strengths are,
okay.
and knowing that God can always cover me. And he always gonna catch me. Like I tell Tanisha, I'll let her go to the end of that cliff, but I'm
Mhm.
not gonna let her fall.
Amen to that.
And
Amen to
she
that.
learned that very well.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, Auntie, thank you for sharing your infinite wisdom and all of your experiences.
Well,
Your
thank you for the
strength,
opportunity.
of course, of course, of course. Your strength and grace are truly inspiring. It means so much to me.
And you mean a lot to me.
If I have a couple politicians one day, that's gonna be my thing. It's gonna be like,
Yes, absolutely. Always thumbs up. That's
oh,
right.
so.
Always thumbs up. Yes.
Well, everyone, thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a review. Shoot us an email if you have any questions, any more information, anything that you're concerned with in reference to leadership, self management, and Alzheimer's. Our topics for tonight with my beautiful aunt, retired Colonel Camilla White. Email me at info@thefinalbosspodcast.com, one word, or hit me on social media: Facebook, YouTube, StreamYard, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify. I'm everywhere. We're everywhere. That's going to be our show for tonight. Always remember, stay balanced, stay
Yes.
equal, and stay smart. That's our show. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Have an amazing week. I will see you on Sunday.
Love
Again,
you too.
thank you. You stand by, young lady.
Okay.
After I close out, I'll be right back.
Okay.